Oh, my ache and everything. What the hell happened? What happened? Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Oh yeah. Kind of weird that happened with no real repercussions or anything. Well, what day is it? Oh, alright, it's almost time for Smash. This is why Nintendo doesn't trust us with review copies anymore. Also, why this shirt? Hey guys, CSDX and welcome to this video. Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. Is arguably one of Nintendo's most iconic series in that it's a special crossover game featuring Nintendo's most popular characters at the time of its release, from Mario to Pikachu to even Samus Aran, who didn't even have her own N64 game. I suppose you could say that Smash Bros. Is a sort of Battle Royale style fighting game. You know, before Battle Royale was an actual thing that oversaturated the market to no end. Developed by HAL Laboratories and led by the great precious boy himself, Masahiro Sakurai, the game spawned a big series, with the second game, being called Super Smash Bros. Melee, being arguably the best entry in the series, to the point that, given that it was on the GameCube, Nintendo found a way to actually make sure you could use the GameCube controller for future installments, as people prefer the GameCube controller overall with each entry. While normally a mishmash on Nintendo's best, they didn't start including third-party entries until Smash Bros. Brawl, with the introduction of Sonic the Hedgehog and Solid Snake. This led to speculation for the next Smash as to who could make it on there. I mean, I would have preferred Banjo over Bayonetta, but the horny teenage boys somehow won in that round. Not as salty, but still stunned by it. And now, as of sometime around now, depending on when this video goes up, the newest installment in Smash Bros. Ultimate is set to be released, likely to usual critical acclaim, and they happen to be going all out with the roster, even putting a freaking piranha plant in the game as a playable fighter. Who even wanted that? There were other surprising reveals for the roster, such as Daisy and even freaking Ridley, but probably the most surprising reveal of them all, not counting the freaking plant, has to be King K. Rool. See, back when Donkey Kong Country Returns was released, it was discovered that the usual antagonist of the series, being King K. Rool, was replaced by whatever the hell this thing is. This led people to believe that K. Rool wasn't able to appear in Nintendo games, as he was apparently owned by Rare. However, if that were the case, then literally every Kong in the Donkey Kong franchise shouldn't be around anymore. In fact, what people tend to forget is that King K. Rool actually appeared in a few games after Rare was bought out by Microsoft. Now, I want to address the quick elephant in the room. There are two games that K. Rool appeared in after the ones we'll be looking at. They're called Donkey Kong Barrel Blast and Mario Super Sluggers. However, given that K. Rool only appears in those games as an unlockable playable character and not as a villain in a story mode, we're not going to look at those games today. Now, before I get to the games, I'm just going to say that they are not in any way the Donkey Kong Country games or even Donkey Kong 64, because I don't like those games. Yeah, they're visually appealing and the sound effects are great, but I mean, I don't like the fact that each character dies in one hit and boom, you're dead. And especially with that, I don't like how weighted you feel with jumping around. Like, you jump as fast as you fall. You're like a jumping dumbbell in sorts, if you know what I mean. It's like, how do I put it? It's like you jump up so fast and then you fall down like a goddamn rock. It's not fun. It's just not fun. I'm sorry. I don't like the Donkey Kong Country games. Although, I have been playing Tropical Freeze, and it's not that bad, honestly. I mean, they got health, so that works, and it doesn't feel as weighted, so, you know. Anyway, let's get the Wii U gamepad, because I'm getting recordings from Wii U, because they're available on the Wii U eShop. The first one up is DK King of Swing. I think Cesaro's lawyers would like a word. So the game starts off with Cranky Kong and Donkey Kong discussing some special event with medals to award the participants. However, King K. Rool drops in, literally at that, and steals the medals away. That's basically the entire plot point and the sole motive. What more do we need? Let's go! Also, who the heck's this Ghost Kong? Oh, I am going to be sick. Okay, let me explain the control scheme here. For starters, you move left or right by using the shoulder buttons. Weird flex, but okay. Granted, you can use the D-pad instead, but that's not the case with the peg climbing sections of the levels. You alternate between the shoulder buttons as you climb, with some cases involving you hold one shoulder button to spin around and launch yourself up. To get up there from the ground, however, is an interesting choice. You remember way back when I looked at Altered Beast on Game Boy Advance and poked unscripted fun at how terrible it was to map the jump button to one of the shoulder buttons? Well, now you need both held down, and it doubles as an attack. That makes things a lot more confusing and complicated to get done, and motion sickness I was getting was in no way helping. I mean, couldn't they have just mapped it to another button or something? Well, no. Apparently not. But what they did use with the other buttons is a bit bull. For starters, you have to collect bananas in each level. How original. However, they don't get you lives, as there aren't any lives in this game. In actuality, you collect them, and when hurt, you press the B button to use 10 bananas to recover a heart. Okay, but why can't the bananas just heal me upon collecting them? What, do they feel it to be too simplistic with how many bananas there are in the level? Because I've struggled getting them even without that knowledge! As for the A button, when you have 20 bananas, you press the A button to become temporarily invincible. Again, we could have probably just had this by, I don't know, collecting a specific item, maybe? As for the attack that the jump is, well, it doesn't always seem to work on enemies. Hell, it's because of the control scheme in that factor that I died multiple times on the 3rd level! I'm sorry, but I'm amazed that this got re-released on Wii U. I feel like they had an interesting mechanic here, but they executed it rather poorly. Besides, I got too dizzy and sick from playing this, so I'd much rather not touch this again. And do you know what happens when a game like that exists and is bad? DK King of Swing? You just made the sheet! God damn, my handwriting's atrocious, and also I think this pen is kind of dying on me, I'm not entirely sure. So, I'm not looking forward to its sequel being DK Jungle Climber. But it can't be that much worse, right? Actually? No, it's really not that bad. The game oh, hang on, I gotta fix the screen settings. Yeah, I suppose that works. No, wait, touchscreen enlarge, please. Christ, this is probably the worst thing about DS Virtual Console on the Wii U. They didn't know the best way to display the game. Having to change the screen settings mid-gameplay is a bit of a chore too. Anyway, the game starts off with all the Kongs taking a vacation on an island. Seriously though, why is there a ghost Kong with them? Who the hell is that? One of them spots a giant banana on top of the island and now they all want it. I bet that it's just the sun, if anything, or their minds are playing tricks on them out of hunger. As for the gameplay, it's roughly the same, but there are quite a few improvements from the last one. For starters, they actually put in a jump button in the A button. Good thinking. Imagine if they mapped it to the B or the touchscreen though. Oof. Of course the jump doubles as an attack and it actually registers as hitting the enemies too. Along the way you can also find Diddy Kong and even use him as an extension for your attack, which is definitely required for the most part. Seriously, just imagine tossing your friend up in the air after you jump. That would be just terrifying to do and also feel. Also, the 3D graphics from the tutorial sections and each time you talk to Cranky Kong is legitimately good. I'd say insultingly good, but that might be a bit harsh. I mean, granted, Lego Batman 2 on the DS looked absolutely horrendous. Yet this just looks pretty. For a DS game, it looks genuinely pleasing with their 3D models. In fact, it feels like they meshed the entire game with the original Donkey Kong Country games. Now, while I hate the DKC trilogy, I did enjoy collecting the banana coins and the DK coins when I actually could. So, they make a return. Though collecting them isn't as satisfying because they make a different sound effect, which I actually hate. That's a good way to go deaf. Despite that, it actually is essentially combining the best of both DKC and King of Swing. Which is ironic to say, because King of Swing is just terrible. Point is, gameplay-wise, this is so much better than King of Swing. Hell, I wasn't even that dizzy when playing it. Didn't feel sick either. Well, while I won't go too far into the story, it turns out that Rool has figured out dimensional hopping. Oh, so that's how he made it into Smash Ultimate. Basically took special bananas and now we gotta fight a spaceship, which turns out to be the giant banana we saw earlier. Okay, I get that this is a Donkey Kong game, but there is a lot of banana talk here. I mean, what, are there gonna be banana people next? I was making a gaffe! Oh, and he speaks in the name game lyrics. Freaking shoot me. Not literally, you schmucks! So, in conclusion, basically, DK King of Swing is not entirely fun, and I don't recommend it for people who get dizzy easily or even have like some form of epilepsy, even though there's no flashing colors. I'm sure you get what I mean. But DK Jungle Climber is a lot less painful like that, and is admittedly fun to play, in my opinion. So, yeah, King of Swing, Jungle Climber, Anyway, I don't know how to end this video, honestly. Happy smashing and all that, and I'm gonna see what I can do for Christmas.